Welcome back to another podcast with BlockStar. It's 8 p.m. UTC time on Tuesday. We usually try to do these every Tuesday at 8 p.m. To give you guys an update on what's going on in the ecosystem. We have changed that. We're going to start doing those every 2 weeks, just as we're moving forward in development. There's a lot of working parts going on in the background, so make sure you guys catch us on the next one as well. Also, as you guys know, we have On the Block where we do interviews throughout the crypto space with other projects as well, and other not just influencers in the space, and even outside of crypto with other genres of industries. So we're going to continue to do those as well. We're going to try to get one of those out every single month. We do have another podcast series. I'm not going to say too much about it. I will tell you that it is women driven. So we will be sharing some details on that in the coming weeks here. So you guys look forward to that. But we have some very high value women that are going to be coming on doing a podcast, but I'll wait and let them go over the details of that once we get a little further along. So super excited about that as a new addition to the BlockStar podcast series. It's been a while since I've been able to get on here with you guys and have a true AMA. I feel like I haven't done this. I feel like I'm new to this again. As many as I've done, you guys know how much I love to talk. So I'm glad to be back with everybody from the team. We have several of our team members on the call today, so hopefully we'll be able to talk to those guys too. Maybe we can get some insights of some of the other stuff going on in the BlockStar ecosystem if I miss anything. So happy to have everybody back. Some of the faces I haven't seen in a while, so thank you guys for being here as well. As always, we're going to record this. We will be putting it out to everybody in our ecosystem. It will not go out today, but after the recording, we will get it all fixed up and we will get that posted over to our the BlockStar Digital over on our digital platform for everything podcasts and music. And we'll also be posting this over to the BlockStar.tv so that you'll be able to catch us over there as well. So we encourage you guys to if you know somebody that wasn't able to make it today, we encourage you guys to share that the podcast with them as well, and it will be put over there by tomorrow. We'll drop some links and everything as well to be able to share that. So we're going to get started today. I'm guessing the most of what you guys are here today to find out what's been going on in the background, what's been going on in the ecosystem. Well, there's been a lot, right? And a lot of the stuff we haven't been able to put out and updates and everything because we've been trying to finalize development, and some things we couldn't put out as privileged information yet, but we're ready to start sharing that stuff. So some of the things that you probably notice if you go to BlockStar.site, I am going to pull up this page here as well. We're just going to kind of walk through some of the stuff that's been going on in the background, some of the stuff we've added, some of the things that will be coming out over this next month, some of the new development stuff that we're getting into. So let me just share this real quick. And like I said, I'm going to answer questions there towards the end. So if you guys do have any questions, I may stop periodically in between time as well to give you guys a chance to kind of catch up and ask a question if there's something specific on an area that we are discussing. So if you do happen to have something, you can go ahead and raise your hand, and I'll try to make some times in between as well to stop and answer a few of those questions as we're going along. So as you can see, our core projects, our products are already out in our ecosystem for those platforms. BlockStar Social, it got a complete upgrade. As you guys know, we've been working very hard in the background, going through all of our platforms, fixing all the little spelling and grammar errors. I got some great people on our team that are real particulars about grammar and spelling, and they've done a great job going through, and we have updated all of our platforms. We're about 99% done. There's still about 1% we still need to finish going through. But all of our core apps, from social, TV, digital, and then obviously crypto as well. As you guys know, with crypto, that is your go-to place for everything crypto, from NFT platform, our Launchpad, all the way through to tracking your portfolio and adding your assets into there and tracking all your stuff that you would normally do through several different apps with it throughout the crypto space. You're able to do all that from one, right? So some of the other things that we've added over the last several months is BlockStar Daisy, which is a complete AI-driven platform. So for all you influencers out there, or somebody that runs a business, or somebody that just likes to interact and do social posting, and they're trying to come up with content, I encourage you guys to go check out Daisy. I'm not going to go into each individual platform, but I do want to make you guys aware of some of the stuff we are rolling out in our ecosystem. We do believe that AI is going to be kind of the next movement, just like NFTs were in the space. In the last cycle, we do believe that AI is going to be a big part of this cycle, and we feel like we are very much ahead of the curve. Most of you guys know that I've been building out a product called Daphne for personal use for over the last 15 years, and it was a great time to roll this into what we were doing with inside the BlockStar ecosystem. This was all going to roll out with the BlockStar world, but we thought it would be a great time to start implementing some of this stuff into our current ecosystem um, in a limited capacity that would be more dedicated again to content creators and businesses and blog creators and people that were just trying to create content. So this would be a great way to do that. One of the other ones I am going to click into is our utility because we've rolled out so many different utilities within inside the ecosystem. So I just want to kind of run through those real quick. Obviously, you guys are familiar with the Blockstar Meet because we're using that today to do our podcast. So we do those, use that for all of our podcasts and all of our series where we would have a group or team meeting. We use this within inside of our ecosystem as well. We did spend a lot of time building this platform out, and we do give it away for free. So if you are trying to reach out or having team meetings yourselves, or you're trying to conduct business, this would be a great free resource for you guys to use. And we, without being biased, we do think it is a better, superior product than what's currently on the market out there. We'll move right over to BlockStar Upload. Most of you guys are going to be familiar with Dropbox and other such services to that nature. We feel like we have built a better version of that is completely decentralized, and we're not sharing any of those statistics or any of the files that you're uploading. Is all done through blockchain. So it is another great resource for you guys. We do give a free version of that away if you're looking to do storage. We do have some paid models as well. Obviously, the CRM is also a paid model that is really business driven. So any business out there is looking to drive more innovation and using blockchain technology to continue to implement into your current company. I do encourage you guys to reach out to us. We'll be happy to walk you through and show you how that works. That is another big utility that Blockstar offers from the business side of things. And then going back into AI, again, we feel like that's going to be another big push during this next cycle, and we feel like we're ahead of the curve, like I mentioned earlier, with the Blockstar agency. These are dedicated, specific learning models that have been incorporated right into the blockchain and into the Blockstar ecosystem. So you're able to go on there and start talking to business consultants, psychiatrists. You can even talk to me, David Hunter. You'll be able to come in and talk about everything crypto and blockchain related. And this AI was built driven off of my knowledge and all of the lib files that I put into it. So it would be just like having a conversation with me if I'm not available to have that conversation directly. But I do encourage you guys to check that stuff out. There's tons of AI specialists over there, from salespeople, like I said, all the way up to business consultant, SEO and marketing consultants on there, and they do a great job of doing that. And it's really specific to the genre of what you're trying to accomplish. So I encourage you guys to check it out. One of the other big platforms that we have rolled out in recent months is BlockStar Chat. So if you guys haven't checked out BlockStar Chat, I do encourage you guys to go over and check it out. We do feel like we built a better version than what's currently available on the market. I know most of you guys are familiar with stuff like Telegram, and there's other chat platforms out there, but we feel like we built a better decentralized version of that, and we're going to continue to make these platforms better as we keep going along as well. So there has been several things that have been put in as requests to update to make it even better, and we're going to be working on that as well. So let me pop back over here to blockstar.site, and then we'll carry on here. Probably a good time to we'll stop and we'll see if anybody has any questions. At this point, I don't see any hands raised. But if you do have a question, we'll go ahead and try to address that. Go ahead, Kath.
I don't see your screen. Is it just me? Does everybody see David's screen?
Do you see this one now?
I don't either, Kath. I was fixing to say something. Beat me to it. Thank you.
Hmm. So I'm assuming the screen I was sharing before you guys did not see.
No.
Okay. So I will fix that right now. Thank you, Kath, for saying that.
Okay.
Um,
There it is. Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah, I can see it now. Thanks.
Great. Yeah, I was going through and clicking through some of this stuff. So um, if nobody has any other questions, we're just going to keep carrying along. As you guys know, we do have. Can you still see my screen, Kath?
Yes, I can.
Perfect.
Yep.
Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, we do have the BlockStar TV and BlockStar Digital. We will be able to catch all of our podcasts, so we do encourage you guys to check those out as well. Again, you can get to all of our platforms directly from the ecosystem gateway, which is BlockStar's site, and you'll be able to come in one click right into these things. Let me just pop back over here. I'm gonna save the hex kind of for last year. We are gonna talking about the casino for you guys that don't know. We found out that we have a bunch of degens in the crypto space. Who would have thought that one, huh? But we did roll out our casino platform. It is in beta still. We are continuously adding games and different ways for you guys to come in and have some entertainment value as well there. So if you haven't checked out the casino, you can go in and you'll be able to use your BlockStar token, or you'll be able to deposit ETH, and you can win, and then you'll be able to do all your withdrawals with inside the BlockStar token as well, because that is the native currency for the entire ecosystem. So we encourage you guys to check that out. It's a fun time. I think some of even our team members can contest to. It's a pretty fun time to go hang out with friends. We do have chat over there as well, and you will be able to hang out in the chats and what we have called chat rain. So just for hanging out in the chat and hanging out with friends and stuff, you'll be able to earn giveaway and tokens and stuff like that as well. So we encourage you guys. You are able to get 100 credits from the faucet, and you do get bonuses just for signing up. And if you do make a deposit, you also get other bonuses as well. So I encourage you guys to go check that out when you do have a chance. Let me pop back over here. Go ahead, Kat.
Yeah, and referral bonuses too. So tell your friends and check out the casino.
Absolutely, there is a referral system in there. So yeah, we encourage you guys to check it out. Again, I'm not going to go into detail on some of these because they've been out in the ecosystem for a little while now. One of the bigger parts of today's conversation is the apps. I know everybody keeps asking, David, when app, right? So even though most of these are going to be set up as a PWA version of it, which is, for some of you guys that don't know what that is a progressive web app. So you are able to download those directly to your phone, but we will be coming out with our native apps as well. One of the reasons why we took the time to go through all of the platforms with spelling, grammar, and just updating and checking all errors or any issues that any of the platforms were having through our beta testing part of it was to be able to roll out the apps in a true native form. So not only will they be on the Google Play Store, but they will also be on the iOS store as well. And as always, we will have them native to our platform, and you'll be able to download them directly from the BlockStar ecosystem as well, right from the BlockStar site. So that's where you'll go. We are going to put that into development. The framework and methodology is already done. So we're probably looking at about another 30, 45 days, and you guys will start seeing some of that stuff roll out onto the main site. So we'll be keeping you guys updated. Like I said, we're moving to where we start putting out development updates about every 2 weeks, and we will continue to do that. So as we get closer, we'll be sharing more information on that. We are 99% done going through all of the platforms, and we are ready to start rolling that stuff out into the native apps as well. Any questions on the apps? Wow, you guys are easy. I thought you guys would have more questions. All right, I'm going to pop back over here. Just give me 1 second here.
Hey, David, I got a quick question.
Sure, buddy.
So on the chats, and I've just kind of started using it, but when I open up, let's say I'm in there and it says, hey, there's 20 new chats in this room, and I click on it, it takes me directly to the end, not to my unread messages.
Yep.
Is there any way to
like I said,
that
those type of questions we're going to save to the end and everything, but just to answer your question.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're fine. But just to answer your question, there have been some requests put in for that. So just like on anything blockchain, right? Even if you would go to Etherscan or BSC scan, I think a lot of people forget the what we're building off of, right, as our base, right? It is blockchain. So when you go to Etherscan, BSC scan, or even on the BlockStar chain as well, you're always going to see the last thing posted, right? Because when we're doing calls in the contract, that is the way it's going to show up. But there are ways around that, and I am going to work on implementing some of those. So those are some of the wish items, or what we call in the ecosystem the wish items. So we will be looking at implementing that to where it does show the last one. I'm sorry, not the last one that you've seen. To do that, we have to do that in the cache version. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to add that into our privacy and terms and agreement to be able to do that, so that you would be storing some of that cache directly on your system. and not just on blockchain, right? So those are wish items, and we do encourage you guys, if you do have some ideas that maybe we haven't thought of, I do suggest that you guys go to contact us and submit those right into our support page. Right now, you will need to sign up, and that way we know who to respond to. So you will have to provide an email. We will give the ability later on to connect a wallet as well if you would like, and then that way you can be completely anonymous, and then we'll respond to those wallets as well. So I hope that answered your question, Ryan. But we will implement that.
It did. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. No other questions yet. We're gonna move on. Like I said, if it's technical questions like that, if you guys can save them to the end, because I'd like to do kind of a whole series of that at the very end, because I'm gonna chop some of that stuff up and we're gonna make them very specific points, and we may even add them into our knowledge base. So we'd appreciate that. So as you guys know, we have been working hard on some other platforms. I am going to announce a couple things. I'm not going to share them, but I am as far as the platforms themselves. But we are also working on 2 other platforms. Some of you guys may or may not have heard me talking about this, but we do have the BlockStar Academy that will be coming out. We will be making some further announcements on that, but it is a fully accredited academy. Now, what that means is, just to kind of give you an example, I'm going to use an example that most of you guys are familiar with. Anytime you have to go and take further education, or if you need to take defensive driving, normally, at least in the US, it's like $100 course, right? So you would be able to come directly onto BlockStar instead of having to drive over to another location, get the test and all that. And then they would be able to verify that, because you'll get a certificate. This is a verifiable certificate, and those companies will be able to put that certificate number in and verify that you did take that and pass. So if you guys remember, with everything with COVID, no matter if you're from the US or around the world, it was very tough to do. I can tell I'm going to lose my voice already. You guys are familiar with it. It was kind of a shutdown in the whole school system, right? Whether we're talking universities and colleges, all the way down to grade school, right? It was a big deal, and nobody was prepared for that, right? So one of the things that BlockStar did was to be able to have the ability to offer a complete model that was going to be driven for online learning. So not only will we have accredited courses that are all done through SCORM, for you guys that aren't familiar with that, we will be putting out more information on that as well, but it will be accredited. So there will be a true accredited university on the BlockStar chain. We will also give the ability for private schools to also use our technology built on blockchain technology to be able to implement into everyday school life as well, to do at-home learning, and to also for homeschooling stuff. Again, I don't want to give away too many details, just because we are finishing out the development of that, and we would like to save some of that back so we can have some momentum going behind what we're rolling out as well. But we do want to share a lot of those things. But keep in mind, some of the things that we do hold back, it's not because we don't want everybody to know what we're building in the ecosystem, but it also gives us a chance to get everybody excited and get to see new things coming into the ecosystem all the time. As I told you guys a long time ago when we first launched, right? That we're building a year and 2 years out. And I think we've done a good job of staying on task for that. And many things I think we're very far ahead on, right? Comparative to the timeline that we had set. It looks like somebody may have raised their hand here. No, maybe somebody else. I'm going to carry on then. So number one for that one, there was a couple of questions about the BlockStar World. When is that coming out? So obviously, with everything going on, as you guys know, that a lot of the Ember community came in, and there was a transition from Ember over to BlockStar as far as their token. That was a great acquisition for BlockStar, acquiring all that user base. So that's took priority over some of the other development that we were doing, but I think we are still very far ahead on the stuff that we had promised. We always want to under promise and over deliver, and I think we've done a pretty good job of doing that from the development side. And obviously our team is growing every single day. We've added some great additions onto our team. If any of those team members want to speak up here in a little bit, I'm going to give them the opportunity to do that as well. So one of the other big platforms that will be coming out is a kids-driven AI model that we want to make sure that we encourage new technology and blockchain technology. Where does it start at, right? If you just look back when I was a kid and everything, we never even thought we had rotary phones, and then we had pagers, and then if you'd have told us that we'd be doing everything from the palm of our hands with a cell phone, everybody would have said you're crazy, right? But being able to start out when I was a young kid, most of you guys have heard my story, especially on the block when we did the interview. And I went over some of my background as a child. Had I not had the ability to start learning some of that in the forefront, BlockStar wouldn't be what it is today, and I probably wouldn't be in the crypto space either. Nor got to meet some of the great people that I've met throughout the space. So we want to encourage younger kids to be able to start using some of this technology that we're putting out, but put it out in a way that they can understand it. So again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because we'll be rolling those out over the next 30 days, and that will also be all part of the app as well. So what most of you guys are here for, I am going to jump right into, which is the BlockStar Hex. I just want to say a big shout out and thank you to everybody that did come on and help beta test the US version of the exchange. I do have some updates on that. As you heard me mention, the US version, there is also a international version that we were waiting to roll out because we wanted to make sure that we had the jurisdiction and legalities. Well, with everything, with the sentiment in the market, obviously we are already licensed for the exchange itself, and that is all verifiable for any of you guys that want to put an inquiry in. But we also needed a final approval on the on-ramp and off-ramp, which is a separate part of it, right? So obviously we can interact as a U.S. exchange. However, we do need to be up anywhere from 30 to 90 days. And I think with the sentiment and the market and everything going on with the SEC and licensing and all that, I think it would be a shame to get put on the back burner because everything else is taken forefront, right? So what we have made the decision to do is we are going to go ahead and roll out our international version. I am going to pull this up and show a local version that I am running. So just give me a second to pull that up. Give me 1 second here. All right, which one am I sharing here? Yep, everybody can see my screen?
Looks good.
Perfect. So just to kind of give you guys a rundown, some of the things that we're going to be able to offer on the international version of our exchange compared to the US because of certain regulations, we'll be rolling out the full. So any of you guys that were beta testers, you're going to say, whoa, David, this looks way different with a lot more options. That's because we're able to do a lot more options, right? Now, for you guys that are in the US, the UK, Canada, and some of the other ones, it does take a little more time to get licensing in that jurisdiction, right? So what we are going to do is start out on the international level. We are going to start out with countries where we don't have the legalities to give people the ability to come in and see what we're doing. You will not be able to trade if you are from the countries that I aforementioned. However, we'll run through some of the ins and outs of this. So obviously we have the binary trading, right? The ups and downs. We do have complete investment strategies. So for you guys that are just trying to hang on to some of the funds that you got, you're not looking to really play in a space. You acquire what you wanted to, and you're looking for that steady income return. Most of you guys are going to be familiar with the way the stock market works, where if you get a 5 to 7% return in a year's period of time, you're doing awesome, right? Especially in today's sentiment in the stock market, right? You're not making that. So we do give you the ability, if you're looking at long-term strategies, to come in and use different investment strategies and plans that we have put together that would give you a return on an investment to where you're not losing any money, but you're putting your money up to be able to be used in money market accounts, and you're able to come in and put them in different parts of the ecosystem where you would earn a specific percentage return on your investment, right? And that would be all the way from non-risky all the way up to risky, right? Obviously, the more risky, the more percentage to earn, but also you do have the drawback of when they are risky to not get to any return, right? But you'll never lose the initial amount that you put in. Obviously, I'm not going to go into forex trading. You guys should know what that is if you're in the space when you're trading between euros and dollars and CAD. So forex trading would be trading currencies, right? So for bot trading, a lot of you guys ask me about limit bots and this type of bot. David, how do we get this kind of bot? Well, we are going to give the ability to do several different things, some spot grid, some infinity grid, smart rebounds. For you guys that don't know what this is, we are going to put this on the BlockStar Academy to have a full trading course that will go over some of this stuff as well. Obviously, as a company, we do not give out financial advice, but we will give you the tools provided to be able to do all of those things. Most of you guys are going to be familiar with the decentralized side of our ecosystem for the BlockStar Launchpad. Well, we also do have an ICO version of that. So for the initial coin offering that we will run, that will be right through our exchange as well. So these will already be vetted projects. We're not going to be bringing in all the meme coins and all that stuff. These will be pre-vetted and incubated projects that will run through, and we'll be doing ICOs directly on the platform. Okay. Obviously, you guys know what staking is. If you don't, I encourage you guys to check out our knowledge base. As you guys can see, I've been doing a lot of testing and everything locally here, but we'll offer complete staking peer-to-peer. As you guys are familiar with the exploit and everything that happened with the escrow company that we use, I told you guys at that point in time that we would be using our own escrow company going forward because there is a need for it in the space. And so we do allow for escrow directly on the platform where we will act as the third party, right? So not only for just escrow from business to business, but also person to person as well. So there are a lot of people out there that want to be able to trade in an escrow scenario. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick example here. So if I have 2 Bitcoin, right, and it's just sitting in my wallet, and I need to do something with it. I need money to go trade on other stuff, but I don't want to lose my Bitcoin, right? So what we would allow other people to do is to come in and say, well, I got, $50,000 in USDC that's just sitting in my wallet, doing nothing, not collecting interest, but I'd like to earn something off of it. So that seller would be allowed to put up his 50,000 in USDC, and the person that had the 2 Bitcoin, which would be worth somewhere around 60, 70,000, depending on the day in the market, they would be able to say, I would like to get a loan. And the person that is selling would say, okay, this is the interest rate that I want. Here's my offer. And it would go into an escrow contract. So as soon as that loan was paid back plus interest, then it would release the Bitcoin back to the person that was borrowing that money. And if it isn't paid back by the date, then the person that loaned out the money would then receive the Bitcoin that was put up as collateral as well. So I'll let you guys speculate on what type of transactions can be done there. But I think it's a great way for us to offer a service that is lacking in the industry, especially from the exchange side of things. So one of the other things that we've done that I don't know of any other platform that has done this. When I was in the Navy, we did have an exchange and Amex, everything pretty much on every single base, right? So you'll be able to go in and buy phone cards and digital cards and Visa gift cards and stuff like that. Well, we wanted to give the same ability in the crypto space using blockchain and directly through our exchange. So most of you guys are familiar with iTunes and gift cards and the way that those work. So you would be able to come in and buy those directly on our platform as well. You won't have to go to another platform to go buy them. We will be offering those directly on here. I do have a few examples on here, and we will look at working with some other vendors to bring their digital cards onto our platform as well. You may see some other stuff coming out from like Sony and Apple and those things as well. Obviously, the wallets and everything, the BlockStar wallet system is built right into our ecosystem. So as you guys can see, I've been playing around with a bunch of different stuff that we are doing directly inside the ecosystem on the test side. But all of these will be tradable. So I'll just click back over here. All of these spot markets, so anything that you guys want to trade, even outside of our ecosystem, you will be able to trade that in spot markets if whatever the spot price is, but you will be getting the best price because one thing that we do is we arbitrage not only on the decentralized side of things with Pancake Swap and Uniswap and all the other DEXs, but we are also arbitraging other exchanges too. So that way you're getting the absolute best price out there possible. So if you're putting in an order for 1,000, whatever it is, right? Let's say it's 1,000 Bitcoin. You're going to get one price coming if you were to buy 0.00 whatever a Bitcoin through Uniswap and then a little bit over at Pancake Swap and a little bit over here, a little bit over there. It's going to aggregate all those to get you the absolute best price on average throughout the entire crypto space on blockchain, right? So the hot markets are going to be all of the native assets are going to be native to the BlockStar chain and also native to our exchange, right? So a couple of these other things, I'm trying to get through these quickly because if not, I know I can talk for 4 hours on an AMA. Some of you guys have been privy to seeing that, so I'm going to try to speed some of the stuff so we got plenty of time for questions too. Obviously, referrals, we do have the ability to do referrals for deposits, trades, bot investments, token purchases. So all you guys that are out there that are affiliates that want to go out and share what BlockStar is doing that is new and innovative, and get people onto the platform, we do want to compensate you for that as well. You will be able to see all of your deposit histories and transaction histories, withdrawals, the whole 9 yards directly throughout the ecosystem, right? And then obviously we do have our extensive knowledge base that we will be updating before this does go live. So the big question is when does this go live, right? So right now we are finishing up all the terms and conditions and the privacy policy code. We do have to have that stuff, even though we are going to be going into jurisdictions that do not have the legalities. And keep in mind, the difference between BlockStar and most of your exchanges, you guys know the whole fallout between FTX and some of the stuff that Coinbase and Binance are going through is because of the custody of who the funds belong to, right? So with BlockStar, you have the ability to connect any Web3 wallet, including using the BlockStar wallet to make your trades. So if you do not want to come onto the platform and KYC and all this stuff, you don't have to. If you don't want to use the BlockStar wallet, you don't have to. I will tell you that it is a better wallet system, right? But you will be able to come in and trade just like you do decentrally, but inside a centralized exchange, right? So that's what makes BlockStar the hybrid exchange, because you have the options now that you didn't have. And everything that happens within inside of our ecosystem will be transparent because we don't have a private ledger. We have an open ledger that is public. So everything that happens, you won't see any of that shady business that like we've seen that went on with FTX, where you had all the insider trading and the money market accounts that were arbitraging with inside of their own ecosystem and their own users, right? So everything will be transparent. So that leads into another big question of when, right? So as soon as we get all the stuff that is finished up with inside the legalities and everything, we will be putting out a date this next week. This is not something we're going to be rolling out 30, 45 days from now. We're looking at over the next 2 weeks, we'll be rolling this out, the international version. For all you US people, again, the US version will be coming out after that. We did make the decision to roll out the full international version first, and then we'll move into those other markets as jurisdiction allow. Again, it has nothing to do with the licensing. It has to do with the on-ramp and on-ramp. I will tell you, even on the international, depending on the jurisdiction that you're from, you will still have to KYC. So we do have certain guidelines for money laundering and everything that we do have to go by, right? But for all you guys that want and girls that want to come in and just trade and be able to trade in an exchange environment, but still keep control of all their assets, that's what BlockStar is offering, right? That is not offered anywhere that I know of in the ecosystem of what we call crypto currently, right? So we want to give you all the tools necessary to be a great trader in the space and to be able to come in and make money. Again, we're not offering any type of financial advice, but we do want to give you the tools to be the best investor possible, right? Along with the academy, as I mentioned earlier, we will be putting out some courses and everything as well about Forex trading and how some of these other, just a good trading strategy works. And for all of you that are looking to learn how to recharge and different lines and stuff, we're going to make sure that we try to cover all that stuff. One of the other big things that BlockStar is going to be doing as the BlockStar Academy when that does come out is there are a lot of people that are new to the space and they're like, well, where do I go? Where do I go to get the most accurate information? Again, another reason why we will, let me stop sharing this so I can pop back over to the other side here. Just give me 1 second. Perfect. Is we are going to do a lot of training courses. It'll be pretty high level, so we'll have it as, let's call it Crypto 101 or Blockchain 101, and it'll go through an entire series. And for all you guys to go through and graduate, you'll get a certificate, and you'll be able to have a really good grasp on what blockchain is, what crypto is. I am going to take the time to stop right now just because we just kind of went over the big elephant in the room is that exchange. So does anybody have any questions about the exchange and why we're doing it the way that we are? Nobody? Jeez, this was a big part of our ecosystem.
Hey, David, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure, buddy.
How does, after we all make all this money off of your hard work, how does like taxes work in a space like this? Is that something incorporated in this?
So you will be able to track your transactions, and at the end of the year, you'll be able to pull at any time all of your transactions and see your ins and outs. I'm not a tax advisor, so I can't advise you on taxes, but I can tell you, at least from the U.S. version, right? I can tell you how I do my taxes. It's first in, first out, right? It's how I've chosen. There's two different ways that you can do your taxes, whichever one you start with. And again, this is only U.S. based. Um, Whatever one you decide to go with is the one that you have to continue with, right? To be able to be trackable. We will give you the ability to track all of your stuff. That would be all your transactions, your ins and outs and everything. And then you would give that over to your CPA, or if you do your own taxes, then you'll know exactly what to do accordingly. But it will track all of your transactions and all your trading as well. So you'll know exactly what you've made at the end of the year by just doing a simple filter.
So there's no risk for requirements in the tool that you need to do. That's for everyone's separate tracking purposes.
Correct.
Good.
Yep. So I will tell you just on the U.S. version, and there may be some other jurisdictions over certain dollar amounts. Obviously, money laundering, stuff like that in certain jurisdictions. There are certain transactions that do have to be reported, but it's not what you're doing inside it. It's coming in and going out that we have to report when you're taking those profits. In the U.S., it's right at $10,000, right? But again, we're rolling out the international version first. We will go over all of that stuff when we do roll out the U.S. version. Some things we're required as part of the deal with our licensing that we do have to report. But the bearer responsibility is on the user, not on the platform.
That's great. Thank you, David.
Sure.
And the ICOs are vetted by whom? Like your top team here?
Correct.
Or
correct.
Great.
We will go and incubate those projects and make sure that they are above board. We will do a background check on their team and everything, and make sure that it's just like doing your due diligence on going into any project, right? Or it should be anyway. We'll do a complete review of everything, contracts, the whole 9 yards, and their liquidity will be locked directly in the pools on the BlockStar Exchange, so that there is recourse.
Thanks, David.
Yep, not a problem. Thanks, Bill. Anybody else have any questions?
Hey, David, can you talk briefly on marketing strategy for the international/global view?
Yeah. So actually, that brings up the point. There were several questions that were written in that I'm going to go over too. But just to answer that point, Jesse, one of the things that we've done, we held off on our marketing strategy just because of the cycle of the market that we're in. As most of you guys know, that have been in the space for a while, or have been through this cycle, which we call the bear market. It's not really a bear market; it's the building phase, right? When we've taken the time to make sure that we had all of our I's dotted and T's crossed, no pun intended there. So going forward, right, we want to make sure everything is perfect, because when you just go start just blind marketing, right, and then you don't have everything in order, you only get one chance to make that first impression, right? So when they're coming to the platform, we don't want them to come there and see, oh, well, it had a spelling mistake, or, oh, there was this one error. We literally want everything to be perfect. So when people come there, they have a great experience, and that gives us a retained user, right? So how do you retain users? You give people what they want, what they're looking for, and you make it very easy for them to use. So once we start rolling out the apps, then we will move into the bigger picture as far as doing the direct marketing. As some of you guys have probably noticed, if you've been on social and digital, we are showing some of the ads as well. We will be advertising our own platforms within our own ecosystem. So as you guys bounce around through different parts of our ecosystem, you may see from social, you may see ads over to the casino and to Daisy and to the crypto space and to some of the different utilities. Now we will be going outside of there. We do have a sales team that'll be putting together marketing strategies as well to go out business to business, to start acquiring those ad contracts as well, that you'll start seeing ads. That's another big part of our utility in BlockStar's ad revenue. As some of you guys know, we did turn on ads in digital. We did try to turn on for social and also TV. We ran into some problems with Google because they didn't like that you had the ability to share. Obviously, it's a direct competition to YouTube and Google and some of the other things they do in their ecosystem. The only one we were able to get approved after many, many months of trying was digital. So we are going to be doing direct operations out to reach out to those different companies that want to advertise their products and give them a user base to directly target in a decentralized way where we're not sharing your information. Most of you guys have heard me talk about this since the inception of BlockStar, so I'm not going to go too much into that detail. After this, if you have some more questions on that, I'm happy to go over it. But to give you a direct answer, we will be starting to look at other marketing avenues as soon as we get the apps rolled out. That way we can start advertising it all at one time, right? And that is going to be the huge push for the ecosystem and getting it out there. Because right now, BlockStar is still very unknown. We have literally built more utility in the entire crypto space than anybody out there. And when I say anybody out there, I do mean anybody out there. There's no project out there that has brought as much utility to the space and new technology to the space as BlockStar has. And I'm not saying that for clout. We got a great international team that is behind me that we've been working around the clock literally for months, right? As most of you guys know, I've been building BlockStar for over 4 years, but we are really getting into that next phase. But we do want to make sure, just to the final point on that, we want to make sure everything is perfect when they get there. And when we have the apps out, Jesse, which will be we're assuming the next 30 to 45 days, is what we have projected. You know me, I don't normally like to give a specific date, but as we get closer to that, then we'll be putting out some announcements as well. But that's what we're looking at, is kind of a timeline. And then obviously BlockStar World will be coming out after that. We are in the finalizing phases of that as well. Obviously, it all needs to be beta tested as well. Some of you guys have been privileged to be able to come in and check out the BlockStar World. And all the responses have been overwhelmingly good. Honestly, we're super excited to share that. So there'll be more details coming on that in the future as well. And obviously, I don't want to be vague, but I also want you guys to be super excited when we do say, okay, here it is, and you guys are able to come in and actually use it instead of just hearing somebody talk about it. Again, we always want to under promise and over deliver. So we want to make sure that we keep that ability to keep doing that in the future as well. Let me pop open, because like I said, I know we had some questions and everything that were sent in. And I'll try to get those addressed, and now I'm just going to open it up for more questions as well. So I encourage you guys to get those together. Let me just get this pulled up here. These are in no particular order. How soon will the launch of the BSC chain or its official name occur after the full release of the BlockStar Hex? Obviously, the BlockStar chain will be one of the last things to go live in the ecosystem, because for security reasons, we do need to have everything else out so that I can incorporate that into the chain. So there are still a couple of missing pieces there, and then we will go from the private version of our chain to a public version of our chain. And that will also give the ability for us to roll out, I'll go ahead and throw out a word here. It's called Synergy, that developers will be able to use, and other projects alike in the space will be able to use, to be able to onboard into our blockchain and to deploy their contracts directly through there. So that will all be coming out, but the official name is the BlockStar chain. It is the BST chain. I'm assuming as we go along, people are going to come up with their own names for it, right? But we're still a little ways out on that from going live, just because we need the rest of the pieces of the puzzle finalized before we do go from a private to a public, just for security reasons. Next question: what opportunities will be available in the future to earn points within the ecosystem? We are always looking for ways to reward the user base of the BlockStar ecosystem, always. So we will continue to do that. We will continue to do, as most of you guys know, we did set up the NFTs and everything that were lifetime purchases. There are still some of those available over on the NFT platform. So if you guys are looking to get those VIP passes, that'll give you VIP access forever for whatever platform it is that you do get out of the mystery box. So we do encourage you guys to check that out. But we're always looking at different ways to incentivize the use, whether it be for the affiliate marketing, to outreach outside of our platform, to different tasks that you can do inside the ecosystem as well. So we're always looking at different ways. So if you have any ideas and you're listening to this and you have some ideas, I definitely encourage you to use that contact us form on any of our platforms, and it'll get a message directly over to our team, and we'll go through those. How will these partnerships contribute? Oh, let me back up here. Can you share any publicly discussed partnerships that BlockStar has secured? I've already mentioned a bunch of these partnerships that we have worked through in the past. There are something that I still can't release because we're working through legal and business. I can tell you that Zabdi has been doing a ton of outreach to several different companies. I'm not going to put those company names out there yet until they're finalized, because again, we want to under promise and over deliver. So I can tell you there are some amazing things in the works, and we're super excited to share those things. It's too early in the process to share those until we finalize those deals with those companies, right? Um, so again, obviously, we're not just making partnerships because it says how will these partnerships contribute to the growth and visibility. Obviously, these are big partnerships. These aren't just some other project in the crypto space that's doing a meme token that we're partnering or are helping. Right? These are mainstream companies that we are partnering with. Right? That is bringing more awareness to the technology behind blockchain. Right? And bring awareness to the BlockStar ecosystem as well. Because I think a lot of people think that just because you have a company that's built on blockchain, that you're just a crypto company, right? And there's a lot of negative conversation around crypto in general. But I think we're seeing a lot more of it come to light, right? Um, but blockchain is so much more than just crypto, right? That is just one facet of what blockchain technology, the capabilities of it is having digital currencies and stuff to that nature and digital assets. But there's so much more, and there's so much more adoption that can come from mainstream. And we want to bridge that gap between mainstream coming into the blockchain industry, but then also bridging them over to start learning about the digital assets out there. So everything that we do is made as far as our partnerships is to bring awareness not only to the BlockStar ecosystem, but to the BlockStar chain and all the different platforms within our ecosystem, but to also bring them over to looking at different asset classes and crypto being one of those different asset classes. Okay. Um, which three projects will be first to launch on the BST chain? That is $1 million question. And why I say it's $1 million question is because I can't answer that. And here's the reason why. It's because it would be considered insider trading until they are officially listed on there. I can tell you there are 50 different assets that will be from day one listed on the BlockStar Hybrid Exchange. So keep an eye out for that, but I cannot tell you which ones they are until they are live trading and they are flipped on, and that way we do not get in trouble for the insider trading. But I will tell you, even going into the future, until they are listed, there will be no announcements. You will just know when it is on there, then we will make the announcements when it is able to be traded. Okay. And then obviously those partnerships will be co-announced between BlockStar ecosystem and that particular project that'll be going on our platform. Obviously, you can follow along with the ICOs. Obviously, if they're in the ICO, they will be going onto our platform. What date will always be kept secret until the day of. So, hope that answered those questions for the person that was asking these. How is the acquisition of Ember Agency strengthen BlockStar, and what services do they currently provide? Ember still has this project. Obviously, BlockStar took in the Ember token, along with that, its user base, and it's been a fun, wild ride. Met a lot of great people from the Ember side of things, so we're happy to bring them in. Obviously, they still have their NFT project and everything, so we definitely want to support that any way that we can. But it's been a great transition. This happens all the time in the space, not just with BlockStar and Ember, but there are other projects out there as well. Some of you guys don't know this, but there was an even smaller project before Ember that we did go in and acquire some of that user base as well directly into our ecosystem. So that's not always the goal, but if it makes sense, then it is definitely something that we look at. Next one here. We've seen the impressive development of the BlockStar ecosystem, the next platform in the line. In BlockStar worlds, a metaverse, I don't even like that word. Most of you guys know I don't like that word because it's not what we're building. Offering high resolution assets, 60 frames per second, with the emergence of AR, VR headsets like Apple Vision Pro. What is the timeline for BlockStar to support existing headsets and potentially the Vision Pro in the future? We're already set up to support existing headsets that they are currently in the market today. Now, obviously, we'll need to go through and maybe do a few different revisions for the Apple Vision Pro because, again, iOS and Apple like to keep all their stuff under wraps and don't put a lot of that stuff out there open source to where developers can start implementing into our building on top of that technology. So it will take some time to look into that. So to be honest, I haven't looked into that. But all the other headsets out there like High Five, the Oculus, that's now Meta, we're already compatible with all those, and we'll be compatible backwards as well, even the generation ones. And like I said, the High Five. So if there's a specific headset out there that anybody out there's listening, you want to know if it's compatible, if you want to send me the name of it, I will look at it and I will tell you yes or no, or maybe it's something that we add in the future. Okay. What is the timeline for BlockStar support? Is it headsets and potentially the vision from the future? Are there any plans for BlockStar to release its own hardware? I have no interest in getting into the hardware side of things. I think there's too many great companies out there that are putting the time and investment into building out some great hardwares out there. I don't think it makes sense for BlockStar to build out its own hardware at this time. My mind may change on that in the future. It may make sense, but currently it does not make sense. Again, there's too many great companies out there that are innovative, that are moving in that direction, and they want to specialize in that. And I'd rather work with a company that really specializes in that loves what they do, and we're going to stick to what we know how to do and do very well. So, when can we expect iOS and Android apps? I already went over that. Are there any undisclosed developments currently in progress in the ecosystem? I've already mentioned 1, 2, 3 of them. There are a couple more that will be rolling out. I am going to keep behind closed doors, and now again, more or less to keep you guys excited about what's coming in the ecosystem. I tell you everything that's going on. You guys don't have to follow along. You just wait and see when it comes out. So we'd like to keep some of that stuff behind wraps as we're developing and innovating those. So yes, there are other stuff in the works besides the ones I already mentioned, and those will be coming out over this year. So when will node holders receive their node NFTs? So I'll just run through that real quick. Obviously, you guys know that there are nodes in our ecosystem that are able to be invested in. Currently, the rounds are closed. We are opening up that other round. There was a list that was put out. We filled it up very, very quickly within 24 hours, over 100 people. I have not gotten to it to start going through the list and find out who still wants them, who still doesn't. But as far as the current node NFTs, they will not go out yet. And the reason for that is, as you guys know, once I start handing out the node NFTs, they come with a license, and that license key closes the network, right? I have to have the majority share of the license key and a vote in the DAO for the dashboard. There'll be more details if you're a node holder. You know what I'm talking about when I say the dashboard, where you'll go connect and to be able to make the vote. Because BlockStar, again, is supposed to outlive me. It is supposed to be completely decentralized. But right now, I need to be able to make unilateral decisions, obviously with the help of my team. There's a reason why I have a team, and I do value their opinions. But we need to, from a development standpoint, I need to be able to go in and make unilateral decisions. So once we are able to start closing off some of that network, and we finish out the vision of the core of what BlockStar is supposed to be, not future stuff, but the core of it, then we will release those, and then we will let the node holders come in and make those votes and everything, and then you'll have your NFTs. So, but right now I need to be able to maintain those license keys so that I don't have to go and say every time I need to go make a change, right? And obviously we've been doing a ton of development. I need to, I don't want to have to go to every single node holder and say, hey, go vote, go vote, go vote, right? I need to be able to go in and make those decisions. Obviously, most of you guys are here because you believed in the vision that we were building. So let me finish out the vision, and then we will get those out to everybody. Okay. So that ends it for those questions there. Does anybody have any follow-up questions that I can answer? We're going to open this portion of it for nothing but questions. So if you guys have questions, feel free to key up. That's what we're here for. Just pop up in chat real quick. No. Wow, you guys are easy. I thought you guys have a ton of
David.
questions. Hey, Jesse.
So most of the people in this are team members and, faithful people who are excited about the project. For those who are looking at BlockStar as an investment for the future, they may want to buy and hold for their portfolio. Can you give us all just a reminder of how you've built this ecosystem to support? There's so few projects that have. It's usually just buys and sells on the chart that dictate the value of a company or a project. But here, can you kind of tell us a little bit about how everything kind of integrates into the token and the ecosystem, how those kind of come together?
Yep. So I'm going to touch on two of those points, Jesse. So from an investment point of view, that's up for every individual to make if they see the value. Again, BlockStar is the native currency for the entire ecosystem. So you will need a BlockStar token to interact with inside of our ecosystem, right? Because everything long term is going to be driven by that currency, right? Whether you think it's a great investment to get in now or later on or whatever, it is the native currency, just like in the U.S. the dollar is the native currency for our country. The BlockStar ecosystem is driven by that currency. It is not a security or anything like that, or investment part. So I'm not going to touch on that part of it. It is the native currency. If you see the value in it, you'll know. But as far as what really sets BlockStar apart from a lot of the projects out there where they have to sell their own tokens to realize gains, to continue development, to do all of those things. If we were to just rely on the BlockStar token, the tax and all this stuff, BlockStar would have went broke a long time ago, right? Because that was never the intention in the way that BlockStar was built. BlockStar was built with the intention of always taking in outside funds and never having to sell a single token to be able to realize gains as a company, or for the node holders to realize their gains, but to always give back and incentivize the user base of the ecosystem, right? So again, you'll never see a single token. All you guys have ever seen since some of you guys have been here since day one of it launching, even when we were on the smart chain. I do want to touch on that too, why I got everybody here and we're doing this podcast. But as far as the ecosystem itself, the ecosystem is driven to always reward its user base, right? And we take in outside funds. We never have to sell tokens to be able to continue to develop, to manage a team, or any of those things. Again, all the way from Daisy, the subscription models, even if you guys have noticed on the social platform, we've integrated some AI there as well. We do take in revenue there. All the ads that you will see coming into the ecosystem that'll be displayed on BlockStar Social, TV, digital, and all the other platforms, that is all a revenue source. And then obviously upload if you're wanting to store content and everything, or files. Just like, again, you guys are familiar with Dropbox. There are other companies out there that do store this and they charge a fee. We do think we have a better product, right? It's getting that out to the masses and let them use the product and see that. We do offer a free version of everything that we're rolling out, but we also do have that paid version as well. So everything that we do is to bring in revenue from outside that comes in and supports not only our charts, but also supports the ecosystem and everything that we do. And again, that rewards all the way from the company of BlockStar to the node holders and all the way down to the end user in the BlockStar ecosystem. So I hope that answers your question, Jesse. If you need me to go into more detail, I'm happy to.
No, that's good. So each component of the ecosystem has a built-in
revenue stream,
revenue back to the people that are using the platform.
Correct. Now, obviously, the node holders get a percentage of pretty much every platform utility out there because it is the nodes that secure our network, right? That is what allows us to have the blockchain, right? Is because of the nodes out there. So they do get a reward, but that trickles all the way down, like I said, all the way down to the end user being rewarded for using the platform.
Love it. Thanks, brother.
I got a quick question.
Yeah, sure, buddy.
So, I know this whole system, and I've known from day one, it's going to revolve around users bringing in friends, and so do you have any referral kind of programs set up in the future?
Actually, they're already available on every single platform. There is an affiliate link that you can use, and you earn points for that. Now, obviously, the points translate over into BST because you're able to convert your points into the BST token. But all of our platforms, no matter which one it is, you are able to use your affiliate link to earn points that will then translate over to the native currency for the entire ecosystem, which is that BlockStar token. So everything that we do is made to encourage people sharing, because everybody says, well, what does it take to get to 1 million people? And I'll just kind of give you guys a quick rundown of that. How do you get to 1 million people? It's one person. At this point, you would say that, okay, David, you're at the top. You had to tell somebody, right? I need to tell 1 million people, right? But going from 1 million to 2 million people, what does it take? It only takes everybody in the ecosystem telling one person, right? And now you're at 2 million. Well, what does it take to go to 4 million, right? It's literally everybody telling one person, right? And then you're at 4 million. And then to go to 8 million, it's the same thing over and over and over again, right? So the hardest part is to get to 1 million, but we have a plan to get there, and we're going to start implementing that plan. Again, once the apps are out and everything, we already have a sales team that'll be going out and doing outreach to business stuff, but we're also doing outreach. We have our whole social team. Obviously, we have the podcast series out, and we're introducing new series to our podcast all the time. As you guys, Ron mentioned on the beginning of the call, again, there'll be more details on the the women-driven podcast series will be a new addition to the BlockStar ecosystem. But yeah, there's tons of ways for us to continue to drive people to the platform. Again, we want to make sure when they get here, they have something that they want to use because it's easy, it's intuitive, and it's something that drives it. And if you look at the ecosystem as a whole, right? Some people are interested in listening to podcasts or listen to music. Maybe you just like watching TV, or maybe you just like the casino. That's why we offer so many different things within inside of our ecosystem, because we never know what's going to bring somebody into the ecosystem. But then give them the ability to experience everything within the ecosystem from one app, I think is going to be a game changer in the space. Because how many different apps do you have on your phone now that you have to download? I'm just going to throw out some stuff out there, like even Facebook. That's probably one of the most well-known social platforms out there. You got to have Facebook, and you got to have that app, and you have to have a separate messenger app. There's other platforms out there. I don't need to throw out too many names, but having a whole suite of utility that you only have to have one app for that does everything, and you know that your information's secure, right? And it's not going sent over to the highest bidder. Again, that's an $87 billion a year industry just selling people's information, something that BlockStar does not do, right? So I hope that answered your question, Ryan.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome, buddy. Go ahead, Jesse. Jesse, you still got your hand raised, but you need more questions? Nope. Anybody else? Again, that's what these are for. I know it's been a long time since I was able to come on and do an AMA with you guys, and I'm sure I'll get 100 questions after this. I know some of you guys are mic shy, but I do encourage you guys, because there may be other people out there that have the same questions you do, that weren't able to make the meeting, or they're nervous to ask them as well. Again, there is no dumb questions, right? That's what these AMAs are for, right? Ask me anything. I'm happy to give the response to the best of my ability. And if I don't have the answer that you need, I'll make sure I get that answer and get it back to you as well, or somebody from my team will. All right, guys.
David, it's CJ. Can you give any more details about the apps? About how it's going to be structured, or is there any more details you can give there, or that you want to give there, or no?
Sure, I can give some detail. They will be native for iOS, right? So they will be in an SDK file. Same thing on the Google Play Store. They will be native, but you will also, as always, we would never want to fall victim to where, if for any reason iOS, and they've done this to many projects in the past, right? Where they just took the app down for no reason, right? Whether it didn't align with their values or their policy, especially surrounding blockchain and crypto in general, right? So we will always give the ability to download those apps directly from our platform. And BlockStar's ecosystem is looking to become a competitor in that space, right? By allowing other dApps to be able to deploy into our app store as well, directly from our ecosystem, where you would be able to download other apps, not just the BlockStar apps. Because I think that's a big misconception. And I want to touch on this from the BlockStar ecosystem. BlockStar is really supposed to be a suite of utilities for the everyday user, but also for other projects out there, right? We're not trying to shove BlockStar in your face. We want to make everybody aware. If there's projects out there that are building on blockchain technology, or other businesses out there in mainstream that have no idea what blockchain is, we want to encourage you guys to come in and start building on top of BlockStar, right? Have a presence here, because we're going to continue to build out our user base. And if you're looking for a user base to show off a service or a product to, this is a great way to do that. And if you're already in the crypto space and you have something new and innovative that you want to share to the world, come on and create a group, create a page, open a discussion board, create some blogs directly in the ecosystem, because I'm always looking for other projects out there, to get together with, to whether that be talking shop and talking new technology. And there's just stuff out there that it makes sense for BlockStar to help, or even fund some of that technology or innovation that's coming into space. Because obviously, we're an international team, and we have a bunch of bright boys and girls on this international team. But again, I'm only one person, and everybody in those departments are only one person. So if there is something out there that's innovative that can be brought into the BlockStar ecosystem, or powered by somebody else that makes BlockStar better, right? We are happy to look at those options. But I encourage you guys to come and list your projects on there, create groups and pages. Post all your videos and AMA updates and stuff that you're talking about out in mainstream as well. Use the utilities that we're giving you, because that's what BlockStar is. At the end of the day, we are a suite of utilities for people with inside, again, blockchain, crypto space, and mainstream to come in and be able to use and take advantage of, right? Again, some of those are going to be paid models, but for pretty much everything in our ecosystem, there is a free version and free to use, right? So we always want to make sure that we have that available for everyday users, because you can come in and use the entire ecosystem. It costs you absolutely nothing to do, and to gain another user base, right? But if you want all the extras, the perks, just like anything else, they cost a little bit, right? And when we say they cost a little bit, it's pennies on the dollars comparative to other things traditionally in the market that would even be comparable. And again, I am a little biased, but I think we do have a better suite of utilities than what currently is in the market today. But just to touch back on that, CJ, everything that we're building, from the app standpoint, it's nothing different from that aspect, except for the ability to use the blockchain technology side of it, right? But there's still SDK files and everything, just like you would see natively. One of the other big points that I will bring up on iOS, as you guys heard me mention, iOS doesn't make it very developer friendly when they do their updates. They'll do them spur of the moment, and normally the first go around has issues, and you'll see a lot of bad reviews on a lot of apps out there. And it's literally because iOS rolled out an update. There was some issues, and they didn't give developers a chance to know that in advance, like Android does, right? Android puts all their stuff out months in advance, so developers are ready to go. They're able to fix and adjust whatever they need to make sure that they stay relevant and that they're not going to have errors when it rolls out. So keep in mind that there is a potential for that with iOS, and why we'll always have the most up to date version on the BlockStar App Store. Okay. But as we're going forward, you will see bigger updates compared to all the little updates you guys see me doing like daily all the time. They will start moving into monthly and quarterly as we start finalizing things, which is one of the reasons why we took the time to literally go through every platform and comb through them to make sure everything was perfect before we started deploying the app, so we wouldn't have to make those continuous upgrades all the time unless we're introducing something new to the ecosystem. Does that answer it, CJ?
Yep. Thanks.
Perfect. Jesse, you still got your hand up, buddy. Do you have a question?
Yeah, one more.
Sure.
So on the Dropbox storage version that BlockStar has,
Yep.
so that's a really important part of my business. So when I write proposals, everything's integrated on my computer.
Absolutely.
So are we at that point, or is that part of the app
No.
release where I can, like when I write a proposal in Word, I save a PDF and a Word document in case I need to modify it.
Yep.
I can still change it, and I do it all. Obviously I just hit save as, and it gives me that option. Is there a way to integrate BlockStar into that part of my business world?
Absolutely, you can do that now. Just a better version of it, because right now, if you guys are familiar with Dropbox, it gives you a link and everything, but you have to wait for that upload to go through, and then you can start downloading. Right, where it's just the opposite with BlockStar. You can start uploading now, share the link, and they can start downloading immediately. Right. So the same way, and especially if you're looking for a storage base that is blockchain driven, because right now, if you're doing it from your computer and you happen to lose all of that information, well, what happens? You just lose all the information, right? Where this would be stored on blockchain, and you would be the only one that had the ability to read that, unless you're sending it to somebody with a link, then you're giving them a public key to be able to view that. And you are able to set if you want them to view that 1 time, 5 times, 10 times, or if you want it to be completely erased or burned, in this case, after a certain period of time, right? So that way you can continue to keep all of your stuff on chain and never have to worry about a server or computer or hardware failure and losing all of your files. This happens all the time.
And we've talked about this one thing, but for those who will listen to this and use Dropbox, in your opinion, what makes what you've built better than the status quo that's kind of been out for the last 15 years?
Yeah. So a lot of it comes down to security. I'm not going to just bash Dropbox. I'll let you try the two of them, and see the difference. I think Dropbox had its place in time. and with everything that has a place in time, it also opens up for people to get greedy, right? I'll let you do a Google search on security and privacy and what happens with information within inside, not just Dropbox, but there's other ecosystems out there that do something very similar to Dropbox. I'll let you guys do a Google search and you can see a lot of what I'm talking about as far as exploits and what happens with the data that you're sharing. Because again, it's still a bank of servers that they're using. And again, people's private information is big business. It's an $87 billion a year industry. And unfortunately, there are platforms out there that have put greed in front of over user base. And again, that's what makes BlockStar what it is, right? Is because we put users first, and we'll continue to do that always. And our ecosystem is built with that mentality and that methodology in every facet of the entire ecosystem, with the user put first.
So privacy is really behind, maintaining privacy and control for the user is really behind, everything that you're building.
Yep, privacy, encryption. Again, it's your data, it's your information. Share it with who you want to, right? I'm not the arbiter of truth, and I'm not the arbiter of sharing information out there, right? You control your information, you control what you share, not the company, and that's the way it should be. You should be the user of the platform, not the product of the platform.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for the questions, Jesse. Anybody else? We're about an hour and 38 minutes in. I am going to go ahead and end the recording now, but if you guys want to stick around and have more questions after the recording, I'll stick around for a while to answer some of those questions. Again, I just want to say thanks for everybody out there that was able to join today. Thank you, everybody from the team that was able to join today, and some of those faces I haven't seen in a long time. I'm glad to see you guys back. Forefront in the BlockStar ecosystem has been too long, so we'll have to do some more of these. We'll try to get these done on a more frequent basis as well. But we do put out, information weekly. Like I said, we're going to go to every 2 weeks on that particular podcast for BlockStar updates as we're starting to get less and less out of the development stages. Will always be development, but we start moving into other phases that doesn't need the constant updates out there. So again, thank you everybody that was able to join us. If you're listening out there, we'll catch you guys next time on another podcast. We always do these podcasts at 8 p.m. UTC, and they're normally going to be on a Tuesday. So stay tuned to all the different official channels that we use. If you want to get the most up-to-date information, always check out BlockStar.social. We always post there on our page and on our group. And then also you can find us over on Twitter and all those other places as well. But if you want the most up-to-date information, come chat with us over on the BlockStar chat or join us over on the social platform. Thank you guys again for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.